Finishing my first playthrough of Skyrim 11 years ago was a bittersweet feeling. I was invested in the Dragonborn struggle as if it was my own. Defeating Alduin, I felt an immense sense of achievement. But the world of Skyrim enamoured me so much that I felt sad that it was all over. I was doubly sad because The Elder Scrolls 6 wouldn't be out, I thought, for at least another 3 years. Well, if you told my past 12-year-old self that The Elder Scrolls 6 would not in fact even have released by 2022, I probably would have died of depression there and then. Instead of The Elder Scrolls 6, Bethesda churned out the mediocre Fallout 4 and the downright atrocious Fallout 76, and they also re-released Skyrim twice, first as the special edition and then as the anniversary edition. Given that, other than the controversial Elder Scrolls Online, no mainstream Elder Scrolls games have been released since Skyrim, Elder Scrolls fans are stuck replaying Skyrim every couple of years. But every time I, and thousands of others, venture into Skyrim once more, its flaws become ever more perceptible. Perhaps it's unfair to judge an older game by modern standards, but inevitably one cannot but compare the experience Skyrim has to offer with that of more modern RPGs. The thing perhaps most striking about Skyrim to the modern player is quite how vacuous the majority of the storylines are. The Witcher 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, Disco Elysium, these games, among others, have raised the bar when it comes to RPG storytelling. In light of these games, it seems egregious that Bethesda thought it permissible to bloat Skyrim with dozens of fetch quests that serve no purpose other than to extend Skyrim's playtime. But more than this, even Skyrim's story-driven quests are hardly heavy hitters. The Civil War quest line starts out promisingly, as it's up to the player to decide whether Succession or Unity is the best course for Skyrim's future. But individual missions in the Civil War quest line are dull as dirt. You're basically tasked with retaking various fortresses and attacking enemy camps. What Bethesda could have done was weaved the ambiguity underlying the Civil War into the quest line. The player ought to have been challenged on their rationale for picking a side. Skyrim's main quest is epic, but it is as similarly one-dimensional. Alduin is unambiguously evil, the Dragonborn unambiguously good. Alduin basically wants to eat the world because it pleases him. But this simplicity is not simply a feature of more classic RPGs. Previous Elder Scrolls games were more nuanced in their characterization. Morrowind gave us Dagoth Ur, who, we come to learn, isn't much worse than the so-called good guys ruling Morrowind, the Tribunal. And Oblivion bequeathed Mankar Cameron, whose plan to invite the Daedra to Nirn is based on his not unfounded conviction that Nirn's own deities have proved neglectful.
How is it that the Daedra forthrightly proclaim themselves to man, while the gods cower behind statues and the faithless words of traitor priests?
Skyrim isn't devoid of good storytelling. The Forsworn questline is proof of that. In Markarth, the player is plunged into a world of murky morality. Who rightfully owns Markarth? The natives or the settlers? And even if the Reach is the Forsworn's birthright, are they justified in using terror to force out the Nords? Many of Skyrim's quests are also full of meaningful choices that often allow for a deeper level of role-playing. Such is the case with most of the Daedric quests, where the player is given the choice of either defeating the Daedric prince or succumbing to its favour.
He's deceiving you. When the ritual's complete, the skull will be free, and then Arender will turn on you. Quickly, kill him now. Kill him and claim the skull for your own. Vermina commands you.
But it is true that missions with good narratives are few and far between in The Elder Scrolls V. There are a few good gems in a sea of otherwise mediocre quests. If storytelling is Skyrim's weakest feature, then technical deficiencies come a close second. Skyrim's AI is laughable.
No, it's mine.
You'll have to take it from me.
That can be arranged.
Yeah? What's your problem?
Is there something I can do for you? Glad to see you finally came to your senses.
Someone do something!
Ready to make some
Don't
calls?
hurt me!
Do something!
That's it? That's all you've got?
No sign of
part of Skyrim's appeal obviously lays in its dysfunctional NPCs. This is a large part of the game's enduring entertainment value. But such glitches are also annoying and not something anyone would tolerate in a modern RPG. They're immersion breaking, to say the least. Also, I know Skyrim was made in 2011, but did they seriously think it was okay to just have one character model for all of Skyrim's children? It's a bit disconcerting that all the children look the same, that they're all the exact same height, and that they all wear the same clothes. Skyrim's greatest feature is that it offers an almost unparalleled role-playing experience. You can invent and play as whoever you want, but realistically Skyrim suffers from balance issues that means most players gravitate towards the same archetype, the stealth archer. Archery is so convenient, so overpowered, that being a mage or a warrior is a chore. Also, in the early game, going for a mage build is basically impossible. It takes tens of levels before you can get to a point that your magicka allows you to only use spells in combat. Skyrim's combat is itself dull. It can be broken down into 3 components: attacking, blocking, and shouting. You can't counter, dodge, parry, or duck. Such simplistic combat simply wouldn't stand in a modern RPG. People even criticised The Witcher 3 when it first released for its lackluster combat, and its combat systems were twice as complicated as Skyrim's. All of these issues are all the more acute because Bethesda could have improved upon them, seeing as they've released 2 editions of Skyrim subsequent to November 2011. The special edition arguably represented value for money. Released 5 years after Skyrim, it improved the game's graphics substantially, and in any case, people who already owned the original Skyrim and all its DLC received the special edition free of charge. But the anniversary edition released in 2021 is a joke. It doesn't improve upon any of Skyrim's deficiencies. It contains a handful of mods that you could basically get for free if you modded the game yourself. They charged more than what they would charge for a fully fleshed expansion for about a quarter of the content. Many fans, myself included, were expecting something equivalent in value to Dawnguard or Dragonborn, and instead what we got were a couple of half-hour quest lines and dozens of new cosmetics. Oh, and fishing. Skyrim is an old game. Many of its faults are simply signs of its age, but Bethesda have had 2 opportunities with the special edition and the anniversary edition to try and iron out some of the Elder Scrolls V's flaws, and they failed to do so. Skyrim is a fantastic game, but inevitably less people will replay it year on year as its deficiencies become ever more evident, especially in light of some of the amazing games now on offer. Thank you for watching this video, and please leave suggestions for future videos in the comments below. I'm sorry for the hiatus over the last few months, but I've been busy with university. You can expect me to be far more active over the next few months. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one.